All right, what is up? We are live. Been a wet weekend. Been a wet weekend at Wilkesboro, so nothing really has gone on track. So they eliminated the heat races because of all the flooding or whatever. I don't know if you've seen the pictures, the videos, or whatever, but a pretty significant amount of flooding. But hopefully they get all the races in today. But we're gonna start with the truck race at 11 or 11:30 or whenever they're gonna start the truck race. That's why I'm starting this here early today. But we do have a poll question up, not to deal with the truck race, but this deals with the All Star Open. Who do you think wins the All Star Open? We got Baby Gibbs, Bowman the Showman, Disco Briscoe, and Noah Gregson in his arc. That is the poll question to start this one off. And let's jump into I guess we'll start with the All Star Open. The starting lineup for the All Star Open, of course, Ty Gibbs gets the pole after it's rained out because of one car. They had to basically rain out the qualifying where Austin Dillon had the pole. But because of the rain out, that gives the pole to Ty Gibbs, followed by Alex Bowman, because I guess they just took practice speeds or whatever. Followed by Alex Bowman, Chase Briscoe, Bubba Wallace, Noah Gregson, Austin Cindric, Josh Berry, Todd Gilliland, Hunter. Hey, John Hunter Nemechek, Carson Josephus Hosevar, Eric Jones, Ryan Priest, Corey LaJoy, Daniel Hemrick, Austin Dillon, Justin Haley, Harrison Burton, Kaz Gralla, Zane Smith, and Timmy Hill. And of those drivers right there, we also have practice speeds, I want to say. So if we look at the practice speeds for the final practice from North Wilkesboro, Ty Gibbs topped the chart. So I'm going to say for the All-Star Open, Ty Gibbs has to be my favorite because if you look at last year, even though Josh Berry won the race in the number 48 that Alex Bowman is driving and starting second in, Ty Gibbs finished second. He was the fastest in last practice. I'm picking Ty Gibbs to win the All-Star Open. So that's going to be my pick there. Don't sleep on Josh Berry, of course, and don't sleep on Alex Bowman, I want to say, because that car won, and Josh Berry won the race last year as well. Eric Almirola finished third. Noah Gregson is driving that car, so I wouldn't sleep on Noah Gregson, hence the poll question and where those came from. But that being said, Bubba Wallace was not in this event last year. And in the All-Star race itself, Bubba Wallace finished second. So if I had an extra option where I could put somebody in, I would put Bubba Wallace in there too, because I do think he can get the race win there and get the race done. So that is that's basically your open. But there's some other interesting guys in here. Austin Cindric, Todd Gilliland. You can't sleep on those guys. Eric Jones, never sleep on Eric Jones. Like, he could always get it done. Corey LaJoy is going to be a sneaky one right here, and so is Carson Hosevar. They were super fast in that last practice as well, and so I wouldn't sleep on either one of them. Either one of them could get the job done. And Austin Dillon, let's not forget, Austin Dillon had the pole for this race until it got rained out with one car to go, or one car on track, I should say. So there's a lot of stuff going on. That not only that, but who do you think wins the fan vote? They did release the final five for the fan vote. And I want to say Noah Gregson, Carson Hosevar were in there. I think Alex Bowman was in there as well. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but I'm thinking it's going to be between Noah Gregson and Carson Hosevar. I think that's the two it's probably going to boil down to. Bubba Wallace was in there too. So Bubba Wallace, those would be the three off the top of my head that I think, the four, I should say, because I put Bowman in there as well. Those would be the four off the top of my head that I think are going to be there for the fan vote. So that's another thing interesting to keep up with. So whoever transfers from this, however they transfer from this, then we have to go to the actual All-Star race where Joey Logano got the pole. A lot of penalties in the qualifying, and of course we won't get the actual heat races. They have canceled the heat races. I don't know if you caught that one earlier when I said that. But Joey Logano gets the pole. Brad Keselowski, second place here. Christopher Bell, Daniel Suarez, Chris Buescher round out your top five. And then you've got Tyler Reddick, Ross Chastain, Martin Truex Jr., Michael McDowell, and AJ Allmendinger rounding out your top 10. Then there's Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, all these, which Kevin Harvick start is he's going to go to dead last because Kyle Larson is going to start that. Then you got William Byron, if he makes it in time. William Byron, Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., and Ryan Blaney. Everybody basically from here on down, I want to say from Denny Hamlin on down, had some type of penalty, either speeding on pit road or they had like a mishap on pit road during their qualifying deal. So that's why all these guys are down here. But Kyle Busch, I think he was top six fastest, and then he got the speeding on pit road. So This one right here to me is just a toss up. I feel like the 5 car is probably going to be like a really fast car, but does he have enough time to make up all that ground and get to the front? I don't know. It's just going to be a tough call. I don't know how to call this one. Oh man, that's going to be a tough call. I think he's done it before, though. I want to say Kyle. I think Kyle Larson's gone from the back to the front before, so I'm going to pick him as my favorite. But I don't know, man. It's hard to pick against Denny Hamlin and Martin Truex Jr. guys that know how to manage and conserve their tires. So I'm thinking one of those three, but I'm going to go with Kyle Larson. But definitely leaning toward Truex and Hamlin as well. And if you go to previous races, of course, it was Larson, Bubba Wallace, Tyler Reddick. So 2311, maybe look at Tyler Reddick here because 2311 was really good at this track last year. Disco Briscoe finished fourth in the All Star last year. Chase Elliott finished fifth. So don't sleep on Chase Elliott either. He's another one you should have in the mix there. Ryan Blaney, don't sleep on him. So I picked all the old drivers, but if you're going to pick a younger driver, I guess Ryan Blaney and Chase Elliott and Daniel Suarez, who finished seventh. I like those picks there, and of course Tyler Reddick, like I said, 2311, also a good pick. All right, that is with only one race. I didn't really want to go to. There's not a lot of numbers you can go to, so we'll just jump into the comments and see what you guys want to talk about on this All Star weekend. All right, let's see. Okay, BB, have fun watching. Yeah, so the truck race is actually going to happen at 11 or 11:30. I can't remember when the actual start time is. So we're going to get this in before that starts. So I'm a hard cut off at 11 here, and then I'm going to go watch the truck race. Jackson Robinson, he's picking Butterbean, Brandon Queen. They call him Butterbean in the number one truck. He's picking him to win the Truck Series race. I don't have any idea who's going to win the Truck Series race, but I do like the fact Rhodes. A lot of people don't like it because of the aero. The fact that Ben Rhodes is missing his right fender, that's going to keep that right front tire cool. I think that's going to give him an overall advantage as soon as they get that cleared. Josh Berry, I'm picking him. Jackson Robinson taking Josh Berry to win the Open. I think that's probably a really good pick. I think he can get it done. Once again, can he go back to back? Can he be a back to back Open winner? RCR sucks, but not Rowdy, says Gina Allison. So she's unhappy with Rowdy's team. You might be getting a change up there. Ty Jesus Gibbs says, why does it feel like no hype for Isabella Robusto, even though she is probably the most talented woman coming into NASCAR in a long time? She's definitely a really good driver. I don't know how you go most talented or anything like that, but I definitely for sure think she's really good. I don't know that she doesn't have any hype. She was definitely a Toyota commercial last year. I think sort of what slowed that down was she basically, it took her at least 6 months, I want to say. It took her at least 6 months to recover from that injury that she got, the concussion at Hickory, the freak or terrible accident, however you want to look at it. So it took her a long time to come back from that, unfortunately. But I think now that she's back, I think she'll start posting those numbers and those wins and things like that to get that momentum back up and going. Let's see. Fan vote is going to be Noah, says Gina. I agree. I think it's going to be Noah all the way. He won the fan vote last year. I think he's going to win the fan vote this year as well, if he doesn't flat out win the race. So I think that's going to be interesting. That's the other thing. If somebody wins the race, it'll go to the next person in the fan vote. Fan vote, hell yes. Justin Haley. Justin Haley was the fifth one. He was the fifth one, Jackson. So you're on the money there. So yeah, Justin Haley is the other one. So it's going to be an interesting fan vote, but I do think Noah Gragson is probably going to be the one that wins it. That is assuming Kyle Larson made it back to the All-Star race, says Joseph Wooten. Yeah. So there is a chance if Kyle Larson makes it to he's in the 12. If he makes it to the last six, well, she's currently sixth. So as things stand now, if it happened that way, he would be in the last six. That would put him leaving at about 5 or 5:15 from Indianapolis to get back to North Wilkesboro. So it's going to be a really tight window. So it's going to be interesting as to whether or not he actually makes it back for the race. He's doing great things over there. Hopefully, my only concern about Indianapolis for Kyle Larson, always, of course, is a wreck. But the other thing is, will the car hold up? He's had so many issues with that car. It's their third team. It's not a team that's used to being together with each other. We saw Fernando Alonso. His car didn't hold up for a full race. So that's the only thing that really worries me about the Kyle Larson Indy deal for next week. Will the car actually hold together? Because I think Kyle Larson will probably get a decent finish, barring getting collected in a wreck or something like that. I think a mechanical failure is my big concern over there. Busch said in an interview with Harvick that RCR is a mid-tier team, happy with the top 10 finish. He stated that that he is not a mid-tier driver. Sounds like Busch is on his way out of RCR. Yeah, I heard that. I can't remember the exact context. It's not quite that bad, but it was not sounding great. Like I said, there are the rumors out there that 2311 is going after their charter and their big target is Kyle Busch. So, does he feel the same way about 2311? Would be my guess as far as that goes. Because as it stands right now, him and Tyler Reddick have the exact same amount of wins. So we'll have to see how it all plays out. But yeah, if he's not happy at RCR, we'll have to see where he's thinking about ending up landing or going or wherever. So that is going to be something interesting to track. But yeah, I saw those comments. I can't remember. I don't want to paraphrase, but I definitely want to get the exact comments out. And then Kevin Harvick, I saw a couple YouTube channels taking this and running with it. And I can't say anything bad because I think it was a younger YouTuber that don't really understand how older guys talk to each other. Kevin Harvick was like, I guess the only difference between driving here at Hendrick and driving for Stewart Haas Racing is I've seen the owner and talked to the owner twice this weekend, basically saying that Tony Stewart wasn't at the racetrack and didn't talk to him. And what you don't understand there is him and Tony Stewart are actually really good friends, and that's just him taking a jab at Tony Stewart. That's not him commenting on how Stewart Haas is run or anything like that. That's just basically, for lack of a better term, and I'm sorry for the language here, that's just him and Tony Stewart shit talking each other like buddies shit talk each other. People ran with that and tried to. It's YouTube, right? You got to make as much drama as possible. People ran with that, but it wasn't, in my opinion, it wasn't nearly as big a deal as people tried to make it out to be. Trying to spin it up to get views. How about that? Happy Harvick. I miss him racing, says Gina. Yeah, I think he was pretty excited to be. And that was the other thing. Everybody, Kevin Harvick's big opportunity. Like, what are you talking about? The dude qualified a car. What big opportunity are you guys talking? Oh my God, YouTube. Sometimes I'm just gonna say that. But yeah, he it was cool that he helped him out and got him qualified and all that good stuff. Let's see. Yes, hell yes. So Jackson Robinson voting for Justin Haley as well. IndyCar making a huge mistake not putting qualifying on TV, streaming it. Yeah, that was a bad deal. I didn't get to see any of it. I had to basically catch what people threw in the Discord. So if you want to join the Discord, there are ways. I guess go to a previous stream and grab the link from there. Kyle Larson has been impressive at Indy, says Jackson Robinson. For sure, for sure. I think a lot of people thought he would be good. One of which the late Robin Miller. Unfortunately, Robin Miller didn't get to see him do it, but I think a lot of people for a long time were waiting to see him do it, and I'm glad that he's coming through and proven that their thoughts on that matter was a good idea. It was cool seeing Harvick in a fire suit and driving Hendrick equipment. Yeah, that was definitely a bizarre thing to see. Like, right, so for a long time he was Ford's guy, and then for an equally long time before that he was GM's guy. So it was weird to see him back in GM gear and Chevrolet gear for a lot of people. A lot of people probably grew up and never even knew he drove a Chevrolet. I thought it was NBC for the Fast 12, says Jackson Robinson. I think NBC is for the Fast 12, but yesterday is what he was referring to. The qualifying yesterday was on Peacock. Matt Hunter, Wilkesboro could use a flood zone retention area designed after Darlington's minnow pond, built on the west side of the track. Good weather forecast today. Good. Hopefully they get all the races in today. But yeah, they definitely they paved the infield, which made it hot as fire. But maybe their next improvement to Wilkesboro will be to add some, like you said, maybe a pond or add some type of drainage somewhere. I don't know if they have enough room on the infield for a pond, but maybe they could figure out a way to drain it outside to a pond or something. Let's see. The best thing to do would be to bend the rules a little bit to let Harvick drive for Larson. It's just the All-Star race anyways. NASCAR does it every week anyway. That's where I'm at with it, Cody. I know a lot of people were like, Kevin Harvick can't drive. He's eligible for the All-Star race. It's an All-Star race. So like you're saying, if they need to, I feel like NASCAR can bend the rules because it doesn't affect the points. Just let Kyle Larson race or let Kevin Harvick race if Kyle Larson can't make it. Either way, let's see that car on the track. The other option would be if you park that car, just take the next guy up in the open. That could be something that happens. So I think that's another possibility. let's see. It's YouTube Han, says Jackson Robinson. I don't know what that means. Man, rough week for Wilkesboro weather. Any word on makeup date for the Cars tour? Says Krusty. I don't know. I don't know. I have not heard anything about that. And by that, I mean I haven't heard anything positive. We'll see if they actually make up the Cars Tour race. There's a possibility they don't make it up, but I haven't heard if they're going to make it up or not. Trucks run at 11:30, says Krusty, or asking the question, do they run at 11:30? Yeah, I think it is 11:30, but I'm going to jump off here at 11. Let's see. 10-4, 420, says Krusty. No Cars Tour date yet, says Jackson Robinson. Yeah, I'm just I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but there is a possibility that the Cars Tour race unfortunately might not get run at Wilkesboro. Let's see. I know he was probably joking, but kind of pretty serious when Pat McAfee told Kyle Busch he'd sponsor him for the Indy 500 if he could get a ride next year. That would be cool because Pat McAfee's an Indy guy, 100% for sure. So that would be a really cool collab. And I know Kyle Busch is on that show quite often, or has been on it at least more than twice. I'm not I don't really follow Pat McAfee. I need to get into it because I guess it is a culturally relevant thing. I need to start watching more Pat McAfee show. I really only catch the clips here and there every once in a while. But yeah, that would be a cool combo. What I was saying, Kyle Busch racing Indy, and also Pat McAfee, if he could get some type of sponsorship angle worked in there, that would be super cool. Talk about a track you could never cover with a roof. Wilkesboro is small enough. Make the roof retractable, says Krusty. That would be cool, man. So you could never close because of the fumes and all that. It would not be the wisest thing in the world to just completely close it in. Although the Chili Bowl, like they do race indoors there, I guess. I guess that would be the counter to that. But yeah, if you could just close it, like have the retractable roof like you see at some soccer stadiums and stuff like that, I think that would be really cool for a short track. Like then you wouldn't have to worry about the damp weather tires and all that crap. That would be super cool. I bet the jet dryers were going all night, says Camaro 50. I don't know about all night, but they probably definitely woke up early in the morning and got it cranking. So there were probably some overserved fans that were camping out that were probably rudely awakened when the jet dryers cranked up this morning, and they're like, they needed water, caffeine, and greasy food to combat last night's or a little hair of the dog. Just crack one open. You can't go all day if you don't start in the morning. Type of activity. Do things responsibly. You know what I'm talking about. Pat McAfee, a dude. Pat McAfee is a dude for sure, no doubt about it. Forever in a fraternity, it feels like. Put Brexton Bush in the 5 car, he will get it done. Hey, put B Rex in the 5 car. That would be pretty funny. That would be pretty cool. Or Keelan, or just get Kevin Harvick out of the announce booth. I think KB is too aggressive for Indy, says Ron Russell. I mean, I don't know. He would probably have his brother to lean on. He could go talk to Kurt, and Kurt would probably give him some good insight onto the car. I didn't know it, but Pat McAfee and Kyle Busch are friends and hang out every year when NASCAR is in Indy, says Ty Jesus Gibbs. That's pretty cool. I didn't know they were actually. I knew he was on the show like from time to time, but it's pretty cool that they're actually friends in real life too. So that's pretty neat. Breakfast of Champions, says Krusty. Talking about cracking one open. What is it? They put a little. You can put a little tomato juice or a V8. Some people crack them open in the morning and do it like that. Is a red eye, I think, is what they call it. Let's see. Pat McAfee sponsored by Connor Daly. Pat McAfee sponsored Connor Daly one year when he still worked with Dave Portnoy and Barstool. So yeah, Barstool's had a few cars for sure. LOL regarding KB too aggressive for Indy. I don't feel like he would be any more aggressive than Kyle Larson is going to be. So as far as that goes, I guess the litmus test for that would be how Kyle Larson races. I feel like Kyle Busch would race in a similar manner. They're both pretty aggressive drivers. What's up, Shaw? Hope you're doing good today. And what's up, Canada? We do have a poll question. I'm going to flip the poll question here in about 2 or 3 minutes. Who wins the All-Star Open, or who has the best chance to win the All-Star Open? This is one where I wish I had more options, but Ty Baby Gibbs, Alex the Showman Bowman, Disco Briscoe, and Noah Greg Zinn in his arc are the options right now. Baby Gibbs leading the way at 47% with 30 votes in. So you know what? I'm just gonna end that one now, and let's go to who wins the All-Star. That's the one we want to know, right? So obviously we're gonna go with Kyle Larson. And let's see, probably the only fair way to do this. Let's go to last year. Kyle Larson, Bubba Wallace, Tyler Reddick, Chase Briscoe, and then let's go to practice speeds. Ty Gibbs, Ryan Blaney, and Seabell and Chase Elliott. Uh, I'm just gonna go 23XI because that gives me two drivers there. Denny because it's gonna be a tire saving. I'm gonna add Chase Elliott to Kyle Larson. No way that will ever sway the vote one way or the other. But you get what I'm saying. Basically, the Hendrick contingent there. And then who's going to be? I'm going to say Blaney. Blaney can get it done here. Blaney slash Logano because he does have the pole. So I'm going to go Blaney Logano. Weird poll question, but there you go. I feel like those are going to be your best shots for like Chevy, Ford, and whoever. I wish I had like this is one of those times where I wish I could put like 10 options on there, but those are the options. Who's got the best chance to win the All Star? Kyle Larson slash Chase Elliott. Basically, your Hendrick contingent. I didn't have enough characters to type all the Hendrick names in there. Another limitation of this 2311, Denny or Martin or Blaney and Logano for the Ford contingent. I do wish I could put like Noah Gregson, Josh Berry, because I feel like one of those guys is going to get in as well. But you also got Disco Briscoe in there. So going to be interesting. Going to be interesting. So that is the poll question for that. And while we're on the subject, let's talk about last year's. Kyle Larson pretty much ran away with it, but Bo Wallace did finish second. Tyler Reddick was third. Chase Briscoe fourth. Chase Elliott fifth. Ryan Blaney, Daniel Suarez, Eric Jones, Ty Gibbs, and Joey Logano rounded out your top 10 with Ross Chastain finishing 11th. That is really the only numbers we have at Wilkesboro, so that's what you can go off of. If you want to look at previous numbers, previous open numbers, of course, Josh Berry won last year. Ty Gibbs finished second. Eric Almirola third. Ryan Preece was fourth. And fifth was AJ Allmendinger. So there's your Noah Gregson was seventh and JJ Yaley sixth in the number 15 Ford. What a run for the 16 there in the open. So there you go. Those are your numbers from last year. Those are the only numbers that we have from last year. And then, of course, the practice speeds are the only numbers we really have for this. And this is the final practice where Ty Gibbs, Ryan Blaney, Christopher Bell, Chase Elliott, Bubba Wallace, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Josh Berry, Corey LaJoy, and Daniel Suarez were your top 10. Don't sleep. If you want like I don't know, if you want to get like super aggressive and try to, I don't know, get your fantasy team up there where you want it to be. Daniel Suarez, Corey LaJoy, Josh Berry would be some good picks here, depending on whether or not your fantasy team even counts the All Star race. But yeah, Josh Berry, Corey LaJoy, Daniel Suarez. This would be a good day to use a start with them. Who's another guy up here that people wouldn't really necessarily normally think of? Carson Hocevar. If you haven't already burned up all your starts for him, Carson Hocevar would be a good pick. Disco Briscoe, another good pick there. He's top 16 in speed and showed what he could do last year. So definitely some good picks out there. Matt Hunter, LOL regarding Kyle Busch going to Kurt for advice on anything. Has it ever happened? I think they played that up on TV a little bit bigger than it actually was in the NASCAR Housewives or whatever that was called, Real Wives of NASCAR, whatever that deal was called. But yeah, I feel like they do have a talking and working relationship. It's not it's reality TV. They try to make it bigger than it is. So yeah, I think in a situation like that, he would 100%. Not only would he talk to him, he would probably go talk to Kyle Larson and stuff like that. They play things up for TV a lot of times in all sports, not just this one. But if you're in the garage, it's a pretty close knit. You see the same guys all the time. So like if he's going to drive Indy, he would go talk to probably Tony Stewart. He'd probably go talk to Kyle Larson, and he would definitely talk to his brother Kurt. Let's see. Martin, the real 23 champion, Truex for the win, says Shop. He's really good at managing his tires. He's another one that I think you've got to put as one of your favorites here to win. So yeah, as far as the poll goes right now, him and Denny are winning 36%. Everybody else is at 21% with 15 votes in so far. Let's see how it plays out. It's a tight one. 2311 and Martin seem to be it's flipping every time I see it. It looks like 27% for 2311 and 33% for Denny and Martin. Get your votes in if you want to vote for the other two, which of course are Kyle and Chase, which would just basically be Hendrick. So any of your other Hendrick drivers in there too, Bowman, and of course the fastest man in the garage, the 24 of Sir William Byron, and then Blaney and Logano would be your Ford contingent. Cindric in there too. Like I said, I'm limited on characters, so I couldn't get all the names in there. I was hoping for a boat race tonight, says Tip Jackson. You had a good chance for it yesterday. Last night they definitely could have got one in there. Hopefully the rain doesn't affect those tires. I know it's gonna be a green track, so halfway through I feel like it's gonna change up, but it won't for maybe the Cup race. But for the Open, I think halfway through the race, I think the track is gonna change up because, like I said, it is a green track. Any rubber that was laid down has clearly been washed away. Anything on the infield that wasn't nailed down was probably washed away too. Sponsored by Johnny Morris, says Tip Jackson. Yeah, Johnny Morris, great for the sport. He sponsors several people across series, just like Paul Menard and his family. Several people across series they sponsor as well. What's up, Dev Finch? Hope you're doing good, my friend. I got you. The boat race sponsored by Johnny Morris. I got you now. I'm following I'm picking up what you're putting down, my friend. It took me a minute. It's early. It's early in the morning. Not really, but Lordy, please God, no, not Denny. Says I shot. I mean, he's really good at managing tires, though. That goes to that. Josh Berry is too. So you don't sleep on him. I think that would be a good opportunity for him. But any of the guys that raced an extensive amount, not just raced late models to get the Cup, but raced an extensive amount of late model, I would have to give them a certain bit of advantage on saving tires. And guys from the truck series like Ross Chastain, for a long time, saving tires in the truck series was a really big thing. So some of your longtime truck guys, probably like a Carson Hocevar, I would give a little bit of an edge to him as well as Ross Chastain. So truck guys, and late model guys, I would give a significant edge to. I'm kind of low key on contribution, but wanted to say your channel is well done and consistent. Right on. I appreciate you, Steve Cantrell. I try to be. It's hard some days because sometimes I look at stuff and I'm like, is that something people care about? Is it not? But yeah, I do try to get 4 or 5 out every week, and then of course the 2 live streams, so that you got something to look at on the channel most of the time. What are the chances of both Bass Pro drivers exiting after this year? Could Noah end up at RCR? Says Matt Hunter. Some of the even from like sources that I use to get information from, some of the stories as to what could possibly happen this off season are just so like coming into this season. Like if I told you coming into the season, there's a chance this happens, I think you would look at me like I have 3 or 4 heads. So could it happen? Absolutely. It could happen. Do I think it'll happen? I don't think so. I think if Kyle Busch goes to 23 or just goes somewhere, goes 2311 or wherever, Kyle Busch leaves RCR. We'll put it that way, which I hope he doesn't. I'm hoping he doesn't. But if he does, then all of a sudden the Austin Hill deal makes a lot more sense, right? So Austin Hill, I think, would slide into the 8 car. So I think that's possibly, if he leaves, that would probably be who goes in the 8 car. But that's just off the top of my head. But that being said, if Noah Gragson brings sponsorship and goes and jumps in that 8 car, that would be cool. And not for nothing, if the 8 car, the license for the 8 car does Richard Childress, I'm pretty sure Dale Jr. would swipe in there and get it. But would Richard Childress work out something with Dale Jr. where he could, unless Dale Jr. Buys into a team, which he said he's open to, would Richard Childress work out something with Dale Jr. to run that 8 font like they had for DEI, and then you're running, Noah Gragson in the 8 font like they had at DEI, and he's got the link to Junior himself. So that would be interesting. Like I said, there's so much out there. What's true, what's not true, who knows? But there's the rumors of Dale Jr. buying in with Brad Doherty and Smith over there at JTG Doherty. where he would be a part of that. There's also been rumors that he's going to team up with Tony Stewart. Which one of those comes out to be true? Who knows? There's also rumors, as far as Tony Stewart goes, that Front Row Motorsports just buys out all of that, and those two charter or buys out Stewart Haas Racing, gets their two charters, gets their building and everything. Front Row Motorsports, a Tier 1 Ford team, gets 4 cars. Stewart Haas goes away except for the Xfinity Series, and then there's two charters up for grabs. One would The big rumor is one would go to Trackhouse, one would go to 2311, and that would be your charter for Kyle Busch if they're trying to pursue him at 2311. There's just so much stuff out there. What of it is true and what of it's not true? Who knows? But yeah, definitely so much to talk about. So where and in that situation, what I was getting at, to go back to the Noah question, which is what I was answering, in that situation, which of your drivers from Stewart Haas Racing would go where, right? And there's the big rumor that Harrison Burton is going to get or go back down to Xfinity, or he's not, or he's at least he's not going to be back in the 21. Would it be Ryan Preece? Ryan Preece has been linked over there. Chase Briscoe's been linked over there. But you would think if Front Row Motorsports is going over there, they've only got one driver right now, Todd Gilliland. You would think you would want to keep Noah Gragson. He's had a heck of a season. You think you want to keep Chase Briscoe. He's made the playoffs for Stewart Haas Racing before. And you would think you would want to keep at least either Ryan Preece, or unless they want to put like Riley Herbst, if they want to go with like a younger guy or something like that. You would think they would want to keep one of them, or Josh Berry. Josh Berry brings sponsorship, so you might have him as the anchor or veteran of your team, a little bit older than the younger guys, or do they go all young, like I was saying, with like a Riley Herbst or somebody like that, because they bring in sponsorship? It's crazy as to what could possibly happen. Well, so that's why I'm saying so much stuff's out there. I'm just gonna lay back and let it happen and see what happens, because it's definitely going to be interesting. I think it's going to be a wild one, And we haven't even addressed the fact that Honda and Hyundai, or Hyundai, or however you say it. Uh, 3 or 4 people have told me the correct pronunciation is this, that, and the other thing. Hyundai, I think. Hyundai. Like, I'm just going to use my normal accent until I find out how it's actually pronounced. I need to go to the Hyundai website. I'm going to go Hyundai, because that's how we say it down here. But whoever, if they grab a team, and then Andretti to Spire, is Andretti actually going to become a part of Spire? There is so much to keep up with. I can't even keep up with it in my head. Do they become the Honda team? Do they become the Hyundai team? That's all interesting stuff to look at. So I don't know. Trackhouse colleague. Colleagues saying that they're not merging with anybody, or they're not selling out at least. So it'll make your head hurt. Bruce Garvey, sorry I'm late. I had to watch the finish of the F1 race. I just want a close race tonight. Yeah, I'm just hoping it's a really good race as well. Gotta love May Racing. F1 has had a banger. NASCAR is in a good part of its schedule. WEC at Spa, Indy 500, IMSA even squeezed in Laguna Seca before the Homeowners Association complaint, and the Nürburgring 24 wraps up before Le Mans. So, yeah, Le Mans is going to be, I guess, after Indianapolis will be the next big one. Possible, of course, the big weekend, Monaco, Indy, and the Coke 600. That the Le Mans will be the next big one after that. Possible future front row lineup: Barry, Briscoe, Custer, and Gilliland. Yeah, Custer is the other one out there. I didn't even mention him in that particular deal. Cole Custer would be another one you could look at as to possibly being a guy in there, because I mean, you can't sleep on Cole Custer. All the guy does is run well in Xfinity. So I don't know. Champion. He's the reigning champion, so he's got to be in the conversation as well. So yeah, man, the rumors, God, they can make your head hurt. There's just so many of them. So that's what I'm saying. I'm just going to sit back and let them play out. I'm not going to report anything on the rumors unless something really, really interesting or big pops out, because you could go in circles and circles all day. You look like the guy from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Charlie, when he had all the strings and stuff attached to why this was going to happen or that. You can drive yourself mad with all the theories and and stuff like that. Hey, BB, what do you think of the rumors of Junior buying into the 47? I think they're just as plausible as anything. And in that situation, if he buys into the 47 and that ownership group, would they grab another charter? That they've already got Ricky Stenhouse Jr. under contract, so Ricky Stenhouse Jr. would still be in the 47 if they were able to grab another charter. Could that be a landing place for Josh Berry or Noah Gragson or somebody like that? Or does Junior bring Sammy Smith up? Who knows? Or does Martin Truex Jr. quit Gibbs and become Junior's driver for one season before he retires. Because that's how Junior wants Martin Truex Jr. to go out if he had a Cup team. He said that on his podcast before. So there's, God, I mean, name what you want to talk about because there's it could go either way. Sheldon Creed is just about has Sheldon Creed just about there's run out his career, says Bruce Garvey. I don't think so. Uh, he's got plenty of time to win a race. Obviously, Jesse Love winning a race before Sheldon Creed. That was the thing. You're sort of, it was one of the controversies from last season that you're watching this season because he basically said RCR equipment wasn't as good as the equipment he's in, and now the guy that replaced him has already won a race. So that was definitely one of the stories to track. So now that that has happened, he's got to feel it. I feel like he probably felt a little bit of pressure anyway, but he has got to feel extra pressure now that that has happened. I would say. That being said, I think Sheldon Creed's a pretty good driver. I think he's where he needs to be. I don't at this point in his career, I don't see him as a Cup Series driver, but I think he can definitely be a really, really good Xfinity Series driver. And maybe he gets on a run in Xfinity after a few years, figures out the car, and then maybe he starts looking like a Cup driver then. But I think he'll eventually get a win. He's in good equipment. He was in good equipment with RCR. Don't get me wrong. Regardless of what he said, and I think that was colored by the fact that he was the way that he exited RCR. So let's be fair to him when he made those statements as well. Uh, but yeah, I think he can get a win. But yeah, as far as I haven't seen anything that says, "Hey, this guy's a Cup Series driver" yet. Now, I'm not going to give up on him. He's still a younger guy, but maybe he gets to that next level. Right now, I think that's where he's at, and there's plenty of time for him to learn and get better and stuff like that. But I think he does get a win this year, for sure. Hiya, fella. What's up, Roofer? I hope you're doing good. Elite, what's up, my man? I'm stuck at work right now, unfortunately. Oh man, the Sunday work schedule got you again, my friend. I hate that, but yeah, you haven't missed anything yet. The trucks haven't rolled out just yet. But yeah, that stinks, man. Hopefully you can get home in time to at least see the end of the Cup Series race. Heim would be a better fit at Legacy in the 42. Yeah, so that's another one. A lot of people are already writing John Hunter Nemechek out of the 42 car. I don't know that he's necessarily going anywhere, but a lot of people are trying to write in other Toyota drivers over there as well. To your point, Matt Hunter, though, I will agree with you. I think Corey Heim, just from this perspective alone, Corey Heim doesn't wreck as much stuff as John Hunter Nemechek does. So from that perspective alone, you would save money, even if Corey Heim maybe brought in less sponsor money. So I would say in that particular situation, yeah, I would take Corey Heim over John Hunter Nemechek myself. Uh, but that being said, I don't think that they're going to necessarily get rid of John Hunter Nemechek. I haven't seen any rumors about that, but with so many rumors out there, maybe that's one that I just missed. So yeah, if you want to check out Elite's channel right here, he does have a YouTube channel, a really good YouTube channel, and if you check it out and like it, maybe give him a follow or a subscribe, whatever you want to call it. Appreciate you there, Roofer. Roofer always on top of it. I actually get to catch the All-Star race since it's at night. I'll be home by then. LOL. What's up, Roofer? Hey, so there you go. You get to catch the whole thing. Hopefully, you catch the entire Open as well. So yeah, that'll be cool. And maybe if you got enough time, depending on your time zone, if you got enough time after it ends, you can watch the truck race on replay. If KB leaves RCR, I've heard that Barry or Gregson go there, says Grizz. It's going to be interesting to see who if he leaves, who they would put there. I could see all of it being like, and look, don't sleep on RCR. What if RCR gets another charter? There's all these charters up for grabs, and nobody ever talks about RCR. Richard Childress has said multiple times he wants another charter. So if RCR goes wild card, because RCR likes to go wild card, what if they grab one of those charters? Then you've got like Austin Hill and one of the people you mentioned there. Let's say Austin Hill, Noah Gregson, or Josh Berry, and Austin Dillon. Like that would be a pretty interesting lineup, I think as well. Always appreciate a Roofer, says Elite. Those Fords are dialed in, says Roofer. Yeah, I mean, don't forget that Ryan Blaney really good at managing tires too. Joey Logano got the pole. Ford finally got off the snide. Finally got rid of the bad luck. Got it off their back, and now they're ready to roll. Is it basically confirmed that Matt DiBenedetto was supposed to be in the second AM Racing Xfinity car because the owner said they had a second car ready for a full season and had a driver? Says Ty Jesus Gibbs. Yeah, I think 100% that that's accurate, and I think 100% that's the deal that probably fell through at the last minute because the sponsor had some difficulties, which Benedetto still shouldn't have talked about publicly. That was another gaffe on his social media part, but I get it. He was trying to keep it real, and some fans like it. But here's the deal: when racing, the fans are awesome. The fans are always going to support you, but you have to have somebody sponsor the car. So if you piss off the people sponsoring the car, which they had already pulled out anyway, I guess, or whatever, you're still not going to go racing. You're going to have a ton of fans on social media and stuff like that, but you're still not going to go racing. So in a situation like that, just be like, look, we thought we had something going on. It didn't quite work out. Don't throw the don't throw the sponsor under the bus, man. Like, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the AM Racing deal. I'm with you on that, Jay Gibbs. Let's see. 232 miles per hour, says William Wagaman, talking about the Kyle Larson qualifying deal at Indy. I think Gregson ends up in the 21. It's like I said, I have no idea who's going where. I'm just sitting back and watching it. But yeah, it's a possibility. There's also a possibility that Harrison Burton is back. So there's a lot of people not talking about that. Other than TV schedule, I think they should move all start times today way earlier and get the All Star race in, says Cooter Yeti. It would make sense. It would make sense, but NASCAR, they don't care about making sense, and it's all about TV start times. So the TV folks pretty much control that, as far as I'm concerned. How much did Joey's performance improve after the tire test? Seems like the 12 stalled on gains in performance, while the 22 took a leap forward with the tire test, says Tim Brace. That's a good point. That's one that a lot of people haven't pointed out. Uh, Ryan Blaney had that tire test, and Ryan Blaney found something, and they took off over there on the 12 team. Now that the 22 has had a tire test, and looks like they found a little something. Looks like the 22 speed wise. Now they got the penalty, and they didn't get the finish last weekend that they probably deserved. He had definitely a top six car, but yeah, it looks like they found a little something over there on the 22 team now. So yeah, you're not going to keep Penske down very long. Same thing with Hendrick and Gibbs. They're not going to be down very long. Since Larson's locked into the Indy 500, how do you think he's going to do? Where does he finish in both races? I think top 12 in the 500. He'll finish top 5 in the 600. This is going to be a controversial opinion, but I've seen that car fail. I've seen that car fail this weekend with electrical issues and stuff like that. I think speed wise, Kyle Larson is probably going to be running in the top 5, just like Fernando Alonso was. But I think the car is going to break. And this is not a popular opinion. People are going to be like, I am a Larson fan, and I hope Larson goes out there and wins the race. Don't get me wrong. As a fan, my heart of hearts, I'm pulling for him to win the race. But logically, looking at that car, every time it's gone out, whoever's driving it, just years past and all that, it always has some type of mechanical difficulty or bad luck. So that's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting to have my hopes up, and I'm going to be watching the race, and I'm going to be like, oh, yeah, we're going to get it done. And then the engine's going to blow or something crazy is going to happen. So speed wise, I think he'll be in the top 5. I worry about the equipment. I feel like the equipment is gonna let us down. As Team Larson, Team NASCAR. If you're pulling for Kyle Larson just because he's a NASCAR guy, I think Ryan Preece is out of cup for next year, says Escobar. I would have to agree with you. I think he's going to be the odd man out. William Wagaman, what's up, my friend? What will it take for RCR to run on a level with Hendrick on a consistent basis? Rick Hendrick money, Tim Brace. I think that's going to be it. Don't jinx it, man. Says Bones does. I'm not jinxing it. In fact, that's the anti-jinx. I'm actually picking him not to finish the race. I'm doing the anti-jinx. I'm picking him not to finish the race because he's going to have some type of mechanical trouble. That way, I can only jinx it to the good side. You see what I'm saying? Wrestling heel move 101 right there. What is a good point since you said that I wouldn't be surprised if that happens, says Elite. Yeah, there you go. I'm trying to tame everybody's expectations so that maybe we're pleasantly surprised with a good finish. Were you at Wilkesboro for the cars race? No, they didn't. I decided not to go for various reasons. A, they didn't necessarily need me. And B, I saw the weather forecast, and what happened basically is what I thought would happen. That being said, Craig and Tate Fogelman, I don't think Tate Fogelman was ever outside of the top 10 on speed. And they never taped up and went for a qualifying run. So that's pretty impressive. They had a good car, and it's unfortunate it got rained out. I don't know if it'll get rescheduled. Hopefully it does get rescheduled. And if it does, hopefully the setup remains good, because I'm pretty sure that, well, it's a newly paved track. So hopefully the setup that they come up with on that deal stays good. If Larson wins the Indy 500, what happens for the 600? Says Tip Jackson. At that point, does it matter? Like, like you won the Indy 500, because that would put him as a Daytona. I want to say he's won the Daytona 24 with Chip Ganassi, and then he would be. And this is a big, big if. Then if he won the Daytona, the Indianapolis 500, the Daytona 500 would be the next big race that he would sort of have to work on winning, right? So. And he would really have to work on it, because him at plate track. If you follow Kyle Larson at plate tracks, there would be a lot of work to be done there. Ford's R&D department found something. Says Roofer. Yeah, apparently they thought they were. I don't feel like, at least I think they fixed it, and then they said they were down on horsepower, because if you look at Darlington, they were dragging the Toyotas down the straightaway. So I think they found something horsepower wise, and now they're dragging the Toyotas down the straightaways. So if they were down on horsepower, I guess that's what a lot of Ford people are saying. RCR needs new engineers, says Shaw. McLaren isn't as good as Penske. Here's the other thing nobody really talks about. With no practice and no testing, teams with 4 cars, you have 2 times as much information as teams with 2 cars. That's what made Trackhouse so impressive last year. Trackhouse only has 2 cars. They're the new kids on the block. But eventually, as you grind it down, as time wears on, the upstart loses ground. You've got to have. That's why Trackhouse is working so hard to get 4 charters. They know this. They've recognized this, and they've seen that this is the massive advantage. With no practice time, having 4 cars out on the track, you get 4 times as much data, 4 times as much information, 4 times as much driver feedback, or 2 times in the case of RCR. So you're getting 2 times more feedback. That is important and valuable. Information is the most valuable. You can spend all the money you want to on whatever, but the actual feedback from the extra rating our teams, you got, if you're NASCAR and you want the even playing field that they claim, which I think is just something that they say for public PR. But if you really want that even playing field, you need to limit all the teams to either 2 or 3 teams. That would free up some charters for people. That would bring some new blood into the sport. And it would be super unpopular. So that's why I'm here to push it. McLaren isn't as good as Penske and IndyCar. I wish Penske would have put a 4th car in for Larson. Says Escobar. McLaren's really good speed-wise at Indy. They just they always have some issues or whatever. For sure, they can't finish the race. They're that team that's always really fast and can't finish the race. You always kind of see that in Indianapolis. Fords will be. It's 11 o'clock, so I'm gonna wrap these up real quick. Fords will be better the second half of the season, says Bruce Reed, and that's exactly what I predicted, Bruce Reed. I said one of these new cars will get out there and they'll be slow, but you watch them the second half of the season, it looks like it's going to be Ford. Although I don't see Toyota slowing down either, so I think you're right on the money. And I did say this about Chevrolet. I said the first half of the season Chevrolet would be really fast and look BA. Second half of the season, if I'm a Chevrolet guy, that's what I would be worried about. If Larson wins the Indy 500, I would like to think they'll delay the 600 for him. Hopefully, I mean, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. That would make sense. Even if it's only like 30 minutes or so, or to an hour, I feel like it would be the thing to do. But we'll see. We'll see. Hey, BB from Daytona Beach. Go Chase Elliott, says Glen Park. What's up, Glen Park? What's up, Daytona Beach? And what's up, Florida man? Expectations low, hopes are high for the 17 at Indy, says Bones. That's where I'm at with it. I'm keeping a tempered perspective as far as that goes. And I did the same thing when Kurt Busch raced over there too. I was like, man, I just hope he gets a good finish. I don't want anything crazy to happen. And I was pleasantly surprised with Kurt Busch running super well there. I think he got a 6th or 8th somewhere in there. Indy 500 winner can't just up and leave, says Tip Jackson. That's what I'm saying. Like they would have to. He would probably either just miss the race or come in halfway through the race or something like that. At which point he wouldn't get the points for it. But who cares? Like you won the Indy 500. They are dialed in. Bruce Reed. People called us crazy for calling in, but we're right, says Roofer. Let's see. More charters, LOL, says Chaffee. Free up more charters. I don't know that it would add more charters. Has the water been drained out of Wilkesboro? Says William Wagaman. I think they've got it sort of. I think they got it under control. If they're planning on racing the trucks here in about 20 or 30 minutes. So yeah, all right. That's all I got for you on this one. Unfortunately, we're up against it with the truck race coming on. So tune into the truck race and check that out because it's fixing to happen in about, like I said, 20 or 30 minutes here. And I'll catch you guys after all the racing and stuff like that happens. Yeah, fingers crossed, man. I hope Larson doesn't embarrass himself. He's already proven that he's pretty good. What he's doing is a big jump. You saw how bad Jimmy Johnson struggled with it, and for Kyle Larson to come in here and look that good, I think it's a good sign overall. So yeah, I don't think he'll embarrass himself. Just hopefully the car hangs together. All right, I'll catch you guys after the All Star, about an hour, I guess, after the All Star. So until then, peace. Danny Gray's Cars and Toys. What's up? Hey, Baloney was told Bowman Gray might be getting a jet dryer soon since NASCAR took it over. That would be pretty cool. A jet dryer on basically a track and field. So yeah. All right. Really going this time. Peace.